Gambia, Angola, China Holding, GASH, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulunding. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. GASH, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. GASH Group also provides the best security company, GASH Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. GASH Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact GASH on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at GASH Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding, GASH.
Sophie Milk ñu ngi fété juroom benn ati cafka bu dut dañ ñoo leen indil Jalika full cream milk powder neex saf sap te bari cafka pour di leen jërëjëfati si ni ngeen defee Sophie Milk seen favorite milk brand léegi mun ngeen a jëfandikoo empty Jalika milk sachets wala carton pour gagner ay xéewal yu riche pour gagner motorbike dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty carton yi Jalika milk pour gagner yeneen xéewal yu mel ni PlayStation 4 TV fridge freezer, gas cooker, bicycle wala mobile phone. dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty Jalika milk sachets def leen si biir enveloppe binda si sa tur ak sa téléphone number. mun ngeen ko yóbbu si bépp Jalika milk agent bu leen gën a jege. pour xam bi si raful yi dem leen Jalika milk Facebook page. Jalika milk mooy meew bu ees bu leen Sophie indil gën a neex saf sap te riche.
It's a warm welcome to our studio here in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Mamadou Bailabari. In the headlines tonight, President Barrow visits OIC Roads on Friday. Government allays fears over transport unions threat to strike. Urban Gambia traffic woes. Commuters call for rapid intervention. 2021 poll, will shifting allegiances translate into major of votes? On the international scene, Delta variant forces restrictions and lockdowns across Asia. Shia Muslims mark Ashura in Afghanistan amid Taliban rule. Burkina Faso dozens killed as military escorted convoy ambushed. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. President Barrow has on Friday embarked on an inspection tour of roads embarked to be constructed for the 2022 OIC Summit in Banjul. State House said the president was accompanied on the tour by the local government minister Musa Drame, NRA, Ministry of Works and OIC Secretariat officials. The president has meanwhile urged the NRA and pertinent stakeholders to strive towards meeting the deadlines of the projects. See our subsequent edition for more on the president's road tour. The Gambia Transport Union has threatened to paralyze the transport sector if their demands to the government are not met. The Transport Union last week presented a 6-point demand to the government, and the union said it is ready to galvanize its members into a sit-down strike if the demands are not met on before September 13th. The union wants the government to facilitate the allocation of garages across the country, approve the proposed national tariff, reduce Senegambia bridge toll fee, harmonize Afrique Passage Gambia Limited, introduce queuing system for transit goods at the Banjul port, and to waive restriction on passenger vehicles at official border crossings. But according to the permanent secretary at the Ministry of Works, the general strike may not after all take place, as the government is currently constructively engaged in discussion with the unionists. Permanent Secretary Maud Kesise spoke with our Maud Justice Dabo.
Since they have agreed to talk, to engage, which we are doing, so I think that's information I just wanted to pass to you. Right. But I don't want to go any further beyond that because, like I said, we are talking and we have to respect that process as well.
Exactly. And then, since, you have, you are all like-minded, you all have, the same objective, there is hope that, at the end of the day, you will reach, a common ground.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, but how soon, because, they've made a threat, and then, but how do you think, this, strike, may be thwarted, how, optimistic are you?
No, I mean, it's not a threat. I mean, what I'm saying is, unionists, naturally, they have the tool available to them is strike and demonstration. And in this case, they have even said to, sit-down strike, which is non-violent, which is in itself very positive.
But this will affect people because
I think for me, I'm looking at their action and their achievement positively from a positive perspective. That is to say, the fact that they have given 1 month notice, the fact that they have said their doors are open for engagement and engagement indeed has started, the stress is not there anymore. We are positive from both parties that whatever we can do before September 13, we will endeavor to do, and we'll be able to reach a common ground.
Sorry, for coming in, but you are trying to downplay, something big because these people have made, very huge demands. Some of these things, are beyond, your ministry, and some of these things are so big that they may not be met this, so limited a time frame, we may be allowed to say.
Yes, but Mr. Dabo, they are also reasonable people. Understand that, like I said, one of the reasons why they called the press conference, and one of the reasons also they made their demand and give deadlines, is to call government attention and the general public attention to it, right? And indeed they have captured government attention and they have captured the general public attention. That is also what they wanted. But they are reasonable. If they realize that there are certain demands that cannot be met immediately overnight, then they will defy it. That's obvious. I know them, and they are very, very positive people and reasonable people. For those things that can be met before the period, we will endeavor to do it because it's not that it's starting new. This has been something going on for quite a long time. Their demands are not new. It has been with us for the past 50 years. So this government is doing a lot about it every day from morning to dawn. That is what we are occupied as Ministry of Transport to solve. For example, if you tell me border access to Senegal, that decision is not entirely mine. It has to be a jointly discussed and agreed thing with Senegal, right? So their intention is that government just take effort, and alhamdulillah, if we realize it before that time, we will update them. If we just tell, look, these are the efforts that government have done. Are you satisfied with? So like I said, I'm not surprised of what is being said. I'm not disappointed with their demand and the deadline. I will do my part together with my colleagues in government to address those that we can, and then get back to them and say, look, this is the situation, and then we hopefully also, knowing who they are, they would also act responsibly and understand. So I'm not downplaying anything. So I'm just being positive, optimistic, and also just being realistic, right?
And then, we've made to understand that, yesterday you've had, an engagement with them, Can you actually, enlighten us, about the entire process?
Yes, they made the announcement and their press conference and they made their demand, right, like I told you. And within 12 hours, we were able to summon them and summon all the government machinery to meet them, listen to their demands again and update them. We virtually updated them on where we are on some of the issues that they have raised, which were not new. And then also update them on progress on some of the things that they have said. So it was a consultation and also a negotiation, and they have agreed to engage, and we will continue to meet until we reach somewhere else.
Travel hours in some parts of the urban Gambia are increasing by each passing day as the country's traffic woes goes on. Binda Koli went through the maze of the stinting traffic on Friday, and she filed in this report.
Several major highways in urban Gambia have become traffic bottlenecks with no end in sight. Nowadays, a month hardly passes by without the news of traffic congestions being screamed on newspapers or television screens. Currently, the Gambia is grappling with huge road infrastructure deficit. Major arteries in urban Gambia continue to pose traffic nightmares to commuters as roads are either too small to accommodate vehicles or there are many cars plying them. Research has shown that the number of used cars being imported into the country in recent times have increased more than twofold as compared with previous statistics. Relatively, narrow urban roads and an increase in the number of cars have consequently led to appeals on the government to invest more in roads.
For how long? It's been a while. Yeah, for a long time now.
What do you have to say to the government?
The government?
Yeah.
I think we should take the issue of infrastructure seriously and make...
The traffic nightmares are also affecting productivity in several sectors of the economy as commuters spend hours in traffic quagmires. Lamin Koli wants the government to be more inventive and ingenious in finding solutions to the country's perennial traffic problem.
Li nguur gi moo waroon a def ubbi benn yoon bi jaaree ko beneen baaguye bu war a jógee from cooperative to Abuko trafic bi mun a tane wante right now yaa gis man diggante bi maa jógee fii maa ngi am almost 1 hour diggante tali ni si marché bi balaa ñu ne Jimpex trafic bi moo garaaw na trop.
Meanwhile, smooth flow of traffic will not only ease the current travel burden on commuters, but its economic benefits would be far and wide-reaching. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Hadi M. Jajo.
Political allegiances are constantly shifting little over 3 months before Gambians decide at the poll who will lead them for the next 5 years. Jacqueline Colley has been analyzing the trend.
Since the beginning of the election year, political loyalties have been continually changing, and the most affected by these shifting allegiances are the GMC of Ahmad Mai Fati and GDC of Mama Kande. These two political parties have suffered high-profile losses to the NPP of President Adama Barrow. Several GDC and GMC executives and rank and file have now jumped onto the NPP bandwagon, giving the party that huge boost in morale it so needs. But the NPP is also having its territory marauded by other parties. GDC and UDP have also been drawing from the NPP support base. After snatching experienced former legislator and seasoned politician Ablai Sukusingate from the UDP mid this year, UDP secured a high-value defection from the NPP by winning the heart of the party's influential figure, Ramu Sabali, few days ago. But the APRC is not also immune to this defection mania, if we may call it that way. The party's deputy spokesman, Dudija, has now gone grey, at least partly as the APRC and NPP muse over the possibility of forming a united front in the general election. The APRC and NPP could at any moment from now announce their alliance for the 2021 poll, and if reports reaching Star TV are anything to go by, APRC Supreme Leader Yaya Jammeh will soon speak to the base to galvanize it into throwing their full weight behind President Barrow and his NPP. As recent as on Tuesday, the Minister of Information, also the NPP spokesperson Ibrahim Masila, has been talking of huge political gains for the NPP as hundreds of UDP and GDC supporters from the so-called battleground of Western Region reportedly switch allegiance to President Barrow. It's said to be the same trend in North Bank and Lower River regions. Be as it may, it has yet to be seen whether these shifting allegiances will trickle down into the majority of the votes for the beneficiary parties. Jacqueline Colley for Star TV News.
And now we will be taking our commercial break. When we come back, we'll look at news outside the Gambia.
Gambia, Angola, China Holding, Gosh, producers of the finest tomato paste in the Gambia. Jaja tomato paste, available in 5 kilos, 1 kilo and in sachets. For wholesale and retail, visit our factory at Banjulambing. We are also producers of Jaja mineral water, cool, clear and fresh. Gosh, Gambia, Angola, China Holding, with headquarters at Fatu Golden Plaza, Mile 7, Bertel Harding Highway. Gosh Group also provides the best security company company, Gash Security, for your offices, warehouses, homes and personal property. Gash Group for all your construction projects, offering you quality water reticulation for your gardens, pump irrigation, tidal irrigation projects and all types of buildings. You can contact Gash on 396-7894, 700-8993, 373-0259. Visit us at Gash Global Group on Battle Harden Highway, Fatu Golden Plaza. Our website www.gashglobal.com. Gambia, Angola, China Holding. Gash.
Sophie Milk ñu ngi fété juróom benn ati cafka bu dut dañ ñoo leen indil Jalika full cream milk powder neex saf sàpp te bari cafka pour di leen jërëjëfati si ni ngeen defee Sophie Milk seen favorite milk brand léegi mun ngeen a jëfandikoo empty Jalika milk sachets wala carton pour gagner ay xéewal yu riche pour gagner motorbike dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty carton yi Jalika milk pour gagner yeneen xéewal yu mel ni PlayStation 4 TV fridge freezer, gas cooker, bicycle wala mobile phone. dajaleel fukk ak juróomi empty Jalika milk sachets def leen si biir enveloppe binda si sa tur ak sa téléphone number. mun ngeen koo yóbbu si bépp Jalika milk agent bu leen gën a jege. pour xam bi si raful yi dem leen Jalika milk Facebook page. Jalika milk mooy meew bu ees bu leen so fi indel gën a neex saf sàpp te riche.
Welcome back after that commercial break. If you are just tuning in, this is Star TV News from our studios here in Serekunda. And now to the international news. The COVID-19 Delta variant is forcing a new wave of restrictions and lockdowns across the Asia Pacific. Al Jazeera's Scott Hidler reports from Bangkok, Thailand.
Australia's biggest city, Sydney, seeing a surge of new COVID-19 infections, will now be in lockdown until the end of September. People in the worst-hit suburbs will face a nighttime curfew. The city's 5 million residents are now required to wear face masks outside. The wider state of New South Wales has had 3 consecutive days of more than 600 new cases.
We've thrown everything at this, and now it's time to bunker down, and I can't stress that enough. It is time for all of us to bunker down, take this as seriously as we can, although so many of us have, the vast majority have.
This third wave in Australia, fed by the Delta virus, made its way to New Zealand this week. The nation was living free of COVID-19 for 6 months until Tuesday, when a case was discovered linked to the outbreak in Australia. A snap national lockdown was extended until midnight next Tuesday after more cases were detected in several cities. 11 new cases were recorded on Friday.
We just don't quite know the full scale of this Delta outbreak. All in all, that tells us we need to continue to be cautious and that we need more time before we have the complete picture we need to change our settings.
With one of the worst COVID-19 outbreaks in Asia on Friday, Thailand marked 1 million cases since the start of the pandemic. Until April, the nation was able to minimize the spread of the virus. 97% of all COVID-19 cases have occurred in the last 5 months. Vietnam has also successfully contained the virus until late April. But a surge of infections in recent weeks has forced officials to put the largest city, Ho Chi Minh, into lockdown from Monday. As Tokyo prepares for the start of the Paralympics next week, concern grows as the city is also seeing a surge of new COVID-19 infections that's overstretched hospitals. Organizers admit that the Games will be held under difficult circumstances. They'll be using the same COVID-19 playbook implemented during the Olympic Games, focusing on frequent testing and limited movement. With the high vaccination rate and few new infections, Singapore has started to relax its COVID-19 restrictions. This allowing some to head out and enjoy a break.
For us, we definitely feel safe. You know, we're all wearing our masks except when we're eating the treats, and the vaccination rate is so high here. Everyone here is vaccinated, so we felt like it was a no-risk situation, so we're happy to be here.
An indulgence many others in the region hope they soon will also be able to enjoy. Scott Heidler, Al Jazeera, Bangkok.
There have been scattered demonstrations in Afghanistan to mark Independence Day in defiance of the Taliban that took over the country on Monday. The Afghan national flag was paraded in the streets. In some cities, the Taliban dispersed crowds with gunfire. But in a rare move, it did allow Shia Muslims to commemorate the day of Ashura. Al Jazeera's Rob has this report from Kabul.
At Kabul airport's main terminal, this is crowd control Taliban style. Volleys of gunfire scatter people in panic. At another gate, even more desperate scenes as the airport continues to be besieged. And at the side of the airport, where the US military evacuation is taking place, private defence contractors there use tear gas. At the British Embassy compound, long lines gather daily to apply for special visas, with promises from the Taliban of amnesty for those who worked with foreign forces and safe passage to the airport. But many doubt the Taliban's promises. Fears raised by its treatment of protesters wanting to retain the national flag. Deadly clashes with Taliban fighters have taken place in the city of Jalalabad, with emotions running even higher as Afghanistan celebrates Independence Day. There have been further confrontations in the city of Asadabad. The violence of this Independence Day has raised tensions in what is already a very highly charged atmosphere, and by coincidence, it comes on the same day as Ashura, the most important date in the Shia calendar, a ritual observed here by the minority Hazara community. Targeted in the past by ISIL bombers, the commemoration this year is also overshadowed by the current upheaval, and concerns the community may face further alienation under a Taliban government.
As I see it, if the government is going to be dominated by just one ethnic group, it makes us worried that the country could slip back into civil war and destruction.
On the streets of Kabul, there are signs of life returning to something like normal, with more business opening and hopes for a new start.
Everyone was tired of the previous government. People are hopeful for whatever is coming and that business will be better.
But the views of a nervous population remain mixed.
It's better for our future if the country is free of all these troubles and misfortunes.
We don't want to go back to the previous Taliban era when young people would have to follow the strict dress code or get beaten up.
With more Taliban patrolling the streets, there's also been the return of a familiar sight: traffic police in their distinctive uniforms back on duty. A small comfort for a population in need of any kind of reassurance right now. Rob McBride, Al Jazeera, Kabul.
The death toll from an ambush on a military-escorted convoy in Burkina Faso has risen to at least 80 people. It is the third time armed groups have struck in less than 2 weeks. Al Jazeera's Barbara Angopa reports.
These are some of the survivors of Wednesday's attack. Gunmen targeted government forces as they escorted a convoy, but 59 civilians were killed.
It was a very big ambush on a convoy being escorted by the FDS. Many civilians were traveling, including women, men, and children, who simply wanted to go back to Gorgaji. Once again, we offer condolences to the families and sympathize with those who were injured.
The ambush is the latest in a wave of attacks in West Africa's Sahel region this month, where armed groups including Al-Qaeda and ISIL operate. On Monday, more than 37 civilians, including children, were killed in an attack in a village in Niger. Last week, 51 people were shot dead in northern Mali in an apparent revenge attack after several rebel leaders were arrested. Thousands of people have been killed and almost 2 million people displaced in violence across the border areas of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger over the past decade. Security analysts say there isn't a common approach to tackle fighters, despite 3 peacebuilding forces deployed in the region.
Why are we having such a disjointed regional response for one problem? This is terrorism and it stretches across the region. There needs to be one regional security mechanism addressing this issue where all West African countries are cooperating with each other to do it, as opposed to that disjointed approach.
Last month, France announced that it's halving its military presence in the Sahel. French troops intervened in 2012 after an Al-Qaeda offshoot took over northern Mali. Since then, what became the Operation Barkhane Force has worked with regional militaries to roll back the presence of armed groups.
the lighter military footprint will do little to end the chaos in the vast three-border region. Barbara Ngopa, Al Jazeera.
Before we end the news, a quick recap of our main headlines. President Barrow visits OIC Roads on Friday. Government allays fears over transport unions threat to strike. Urban Gambia traffic woes. Commuters call for rapid intervention. 2021 poll. Will shifting allegiances translate into major votes? On the international scene, Delta variant forces restrictions and lockdowns across Asia. Shia Muslims mark Ashura in Afghanistan amid Taliban rule. Burkina Faso dozens killed as military escorted convoy ambushed. Well, that's all for this edition of the news. Thank you very much for watching. Do join us tomorrow for more news. Till then, have a very good night.